update the game.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. I didn't this time. Alright.
Did you already put us live?
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it live.
Shit, we are in fact live. What's your camera? It's a little fucky.
Oh, alright, I gotta retrain my brain from corporate espionage to cuddly fantasy.
Oh boy! Go ahead and give a second for our people if I can get here. Nobody counts on us to actually be on time, so nobody's actually here.
I mean, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Linked it in the Discord. Pretty boys. Alright. People are here. Jalen Harris gave us $5 and said, finally. Finally what? We were on time!
Finally Spyro, maybe?
Oh yeah, that's probably it. You're watching I Am Games, the most on-brand stream on Twitch.tv.
Here we are.
We're playing fucking Spyro Reignited.
Spyro
Neither of us has played the old Spyro games, I think.
I played a very little of Spyro Run 1. Oh God.
I like watched a friend play some of it once. There's a privacy policy at the start of this children's game that's like 20 fucking pages long. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people read that.
Well, that was stupid.
I
guess we'll start at the beginning.
Yeah, which sexy dragon pose you want. I like that there's percentages on the main menu, so you can look at how much of each game you've got done.
Hey, this reminds me of the old game.
In the world of dragons.
So all the dragons are scalies now.
What do you mean?
They're all like anthropomorphized, all the ones you rescue. They all have like clothes and outfits and shit. There were definitely furries involved in this game. Everybody got sexy in that. See what I mean? They're all like people-ish.
Were they not like that originally?
They were all just like the same model of dragon with different colors, but now they're all unique models and look like that.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Spyro?
Animal abuse.
Are you meant to be a baby or like?
You are a little boy, a youngin.
Oh, what the fuck is this thing?
That's the bad guy.
It's really weird watching this and realizing like, oh yeah, Insomniac made Spyro. This feels like an Insomniac cutscene. Yeah, I doubt they made this reignited version.
No, it's by Toys for Bob, who did the Skylanders games.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the Skylanders crew reignited the original trilogy?
Yeah. They did.
That's interesting. Has this been reviewed well?
I'm assuming so. Look at it. How could you not review this well? Look at this shit.
Spyro is good. Spyro boys. Where's my sub badge shit? I don't know.
Look at this guy.
That always happens
Look at
to
this guy.
Jalen too. Whoa.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
He sounds like Clank. Does he have the same voice as Clank?
Find dragons first. That's
this game looks great.
It does look pretty nice. It definitely looks a hell of a lot better than the Crash remake, in my opinion. I mean, very different style of game, but this just looks... It does have a lot of blur, though.
I like the blur.
You would.
Dude, I got a dodge roll. 10 out of 10, best game ever. Whoa. Okay. You can also blow flames with the trigger. I'm like, what is this? Dark Souls?
Whoa! Dark Souls.
This is the only part of Spyro I've played. Is this like opening part of Spyro 1?
I apologize for the light echo, but this is literally as quiet as we can make the TV, and I think we want to have some sound for ourselves.
Fuck.
I love the sound effect when you hit him with your head. It's just like... This looks pretty satisfying.
This game looks insane. Like, I feel like I'm playing a movie right now.
It looks, I mean, it kind of gives off the Viva Pinata aesthetic.
This is another one of those games where it's just like realism in games was a mistake. Everything could look cool like this.
Yeah.
And like 10 years from now, this game will still look like a big cum and not like reality.
Yeah.
10 years old.
Like Viva Pinata.
Exactly. Like, we just can... God. Normies ruin video games.
Pretty much.
Preaching to the choir. Everybody knows this.
Well, I mean, normies might have ruined video games, but, like, you couldn't make a game look this good without some normies behind, you know, behind buying it.
Whoa, where's this bitch?
Oh, maybe you can now. I don't know. I mean, Spyro was a pretty big deal. It wasn't like a hardcore gamers kind of game. It was like a mainstream title.
I mean, this is PS1. Like,
yeah.
What, this was just as video games were starting to be a thing that anyone besides nerds cared about. So I would say this is like on the precipice between norminess and nerd.
Whoa, did you fucking dodge roll?
I have dodge rolls, dude.
What the fuck? Do you even need that in this?
I don't know, but I like it. It's weird, like the L1 and R1 control left and right dodge rolls. So I got this like hack shit going on. I don't know.
It's
dude, I got dodge rolls. R2 is flame. This is fucking Dark Souls. This is the Dark Souls of Spyro games.
Let's see if they actually made it any more difficult. And then we can find out for sure. Dark Souls meme isn't about being anything like Dark Souls. It's just about being hard.
Well, this game, I saw a review when someone saying this game was Dark Souls hard. But everyone was making fun of him because it's like you're just a baby who can't play games.
That can't be true. Like, I've seen... I don't know.
He was complaining about the difficulty ramps and how it started as a fun kids game and turned into Dark Souls. And everyone was like, oh, of course. Of course. The gaming journalists would say that.
Do people not realize that traditionally games get harder?
I don't think they do.
Like, and that
I want to get up there.
This is not prohibitive for the enjoyment of children because most children will only play the first part of a game anyways unless it is really short.
Like I did back in the day.
Right. Like most kids... First of all, most gamers don't even finish most games. Like, that's why they usually put a lot less effort into the later parts of a game than the earlier parts, because, like, they know that people are not going to make it that far.
Fucking murdered. I like the dynamic burning grass. Very cool. Looks good.
I don't know how I feel about the grass, because it's gross.
What are you talking about?
When it's, like, burnt, it looks gross.
It's supposed to... It's fucking burnt!
Yeah, it's gross. It is pretty satisfying, though.
First there was satisfying videos, this is satisfying video game.
Freeze153 says there are no iframes on the roll, so it's not Dark Souls.
Then what's the point?
To physically move you out of the way really fast. In a game with weird controls.
You must complete one of the other artisan lands.
Getting dragons. Doing the thing. Just moving around feels awesome.
Dark Souls introduced the concept of difficulty to normies and game journalists. How can that be true?
I mean, game journalists...
Are game journalists all super new or something? Like, where's the old guard? Like, where are...
I don't know how I got up here, but I did it.
You know, it's really strange. Like, in certain circles, there's, like, people who can, like, legitimately become famous as a journalist and, like, you know, working for, like, a traditional publication. And I feel like in games, it's, like, there's almost nobody who anyone trusts who works for any like major publication at all. And like I don't know if there's a lot of like longtime legacy writers who people consider like really solid who work for traditional publications. Like I know Adam Sessler's out there. People kind of like him, you know, like, but even stuff like, you know, people writing for The Escapist, I feel like that's a little bit closer to just being a YouTuber, you know, even if you are paid by like a publication who basically just lets you do whatever the hell you want, you know. What do you think, Tom? I think a game journalist you can like name?
No. Who cares?
It's really sad.
They're all shit.
I mean, obviously there's some YouTube ones I can name.
Right, yeah, of course.
But like...
But in terms of like traditional publication...
Yeah, like...
Who reads them and how do they subsist is really my question.
Well, that's fair. But like... There are people in every... Oh, hi, Mark! Oh my god, there's a Booty Calls app?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
It's been a thing.
Did you not know about it? Or
I
did
knew
you...
about it, it's just a pain in the ass to install.
I see.
Oh, it's not in the Play Store?
No, you have to like download it.
Sideload it,
and, like,
gotta enable developer options and
Yeah,
go in and
that's
label
all
side
shit.
loading packages.
Yeah.
And we've been there. Whoa, I can like blow fire while the loading screen goes. It's pretty sick. Alright, we're here. This looks exactly the same as where I just was.
See, this is the thing. Selhar says, journalism in general now implies the need for clicks. It's not about the report. You get to be major by creating enough clickable articles. It's just like, surely enough people... Well, you know what? I should just stop myself there. Because I know what I'm about to say is just a fucking false fantasy that I live in. But like, I would hope that enough people care about legitimate journalism to try to keep it alive.
Hilarious.
Like, surely somebody is seeking it out, right? Like, surely there are people who are like, oh man, all of this shit is cancer. I wish somebody was writing real shit, you know? And like, you see that on YouTube, like someone like Super Bunny Hop, who's got, you know, he's very legit in his journalistic approach. He writes interesting articles. He makes a lot of money on Patreon.
That's where it was. People who are searching it out are like you, and they just go to YouTube and find.
Surely there must be like somewhere else that this stuff can live, though. Like, YouTube is such a shit platform for this type of media, you know. But like, in the same way that I know that most people are just going to click on the clickbaity thing, I also know most people are just going to use YouTube because it's easy. What is the appeal of real journalism in traditional media? Like, do you just mean what is the appeal of having it be in traditional media as opposed to being on the internet? Nothing in particular other than that traditional media has been ingrained for longer and has generally more opportunities and connections, but they don't use it for anything meaningful. It's like, I feel as though in the gaming sphere, everyone kind of realized that they are bottom bitch to the game companies, and that like on the internet, if you want to be successful, you have to tie your name to something bigger than you. And there is no journalistic endeavor in gaming that is bigger than video games themselves. They all have to be subordinate to the companies because they want to be able to get review copies of those games and talk about them before anybody else. And like, they have to play nice if they want to be a part of that because the industry has all the control. But if there were like a journalistic platform that was respected, who, you know, said whatever they honestly felt about games, and enough people cared about that journalistic perspective, then they would be more powerful than the games. And they can say like, hey, this game is a piece of shit, and if they want to take us off their mailing list, that's fine. Like, we can survive without that. You know, we don't need to tell you that the new Call of Duty is good just because it's not mechanically broken, you know, in order to have a fucking a website function, you know. But then again, like, once more, you need like a hardcore dedicated crowd to make this happen, because like normies don't need journalism for art. Like, they know what they want because it's there. Like, you don't have to convince them to buy the new Call of Duty. They're going to buy the new Call of Duty. The only reason you talk about it is so that they'll read your magazine. And if you shit on it, they won't read your magazine. And you need a certain level of audience in order to turn a profit on your magazine. So most people just take the path of least resistance. But at that point, it's literally pointless. It's like, who is this for? This is just, you know, you're trying to sell yourself to a crowd who doesn't need to be sold to, you know,
just to make money.
So that, I mean, you can make money doing this, but you can make money doing anything. That's the number one thing that I think is...
But it's so easy.
It's fundamentally super weird to me, the way that this world works, where everybody's approach is like, but I gotta make money. And it's like, you can just work a job and make money. And jobs don't have to be hard.
That's what these journalists are doing, though. I only listen to like 3% of that because Spyro's really cute and that's way more interesting. So
well, that's good. But like, the thing is that like, those journalists are doing a job that doesn't need to exist. There's no reason to have a guy reporting on the new Call of Duty game and selling magazines based on it for a crowd of people who's going to buy it anyways. You know?
I think you're forgetting one very important thing about the human condition. Something you should never forget because you deal with it every day.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear your opinion. People want to hear their opinion out of your mouth.
That's unfortunately very true. But I don't know what anybody who's delivering on that gets from it. Like, they get
validation.
Money. Like, you get money for telling people what they want to hear.
I think you underestimate how valuable people find having money.
I understand that, but I just feel like you can get it from anywhere. Like, you don't have to get it from telling people what they want to hear.
Right,
you can get money from just doing stuff.
Some people have no ambition and no desires for anything, so they just want to do something that's easy. And
is it that easy though, compared to like working at just like working at a desk? Like, is it dramatically easier?
Was it easier to make collaborative videos with me saying how good My Little Pony was, or working at Target? Which was harder?
It really depends on how you look at it.
No, there is no how you look at it.
Working at Target was easy as fuck. Like, it
was mentally draining.
It was mentally draining because it wasn't what I wanted to do.
You work 40 hours a week and you get paid nothing. We worked
Let me
2 hours a week and made the same amount of money.
The big problem that we ran into in our pony days, which caused us both to leave, is that we couldn't say whatever we wanted to say without pissing people off.
Exactly.
So we stopped.
But I'm saying the people who are doing journalism right now, like the pundits, they're just saying the mass market opinion. Because they don't care. They're not personally invested. They're just doing it to make money because they don't have any of that, like, desire that we have of, like, you know, doing something fulfilling.
I just feel like you can make so much more money. Like, if your goal is to make money, get into a field where making money is, like, what this field is about.
Making a lot of money takes more work.
Yeah.
You gotta understand, people who are in, like, modern, progressive, quote-unquote, journalism, they went to college, so they're in debt. They went for a useless degree because they have no applicable skills. All they can do is form sentences in a semi-coherent manner, and this is all they got. And they don't want to do anything else because it's fine. They're making money, they feel important, they got the check mark on Twitter, and that's all that matters. These people have no souls.
Most people don't have souls.
I mean, I don't have a soul, but it's because I sold it to Satan. But that's a different story. You know, they never had one to begin with.
Is there a playlist of Digi's MLP videos? They're all in the Every Video Featuring Digibro playlist. There is also there's like a playlist of just the main, like, me analyzing every episode of the show that's on the channel. But, like, if you want everything, you gotta go to the Every Video Featuring Digibro playlist. which I've been doing to watch some of my own old videos.
I wonder if people are mad that I'm not playing right now. I'm just enjoying the experience.
You know, Tom, I re-listened to a video I made early into my career that was like, it was called like celebrating 1 year of Bronydom, why I like this show so much. And it was an 18-minute video where I was just explaining like how I'd gotten into the show and why, like what I liked about it.
Everybody had one of those.
And I remember that, yeah, it was like, I even say so in the video. I'm like, this is a video everybody inevitably has to make. And like, this is the one that my dad used to show to people, even though the way it was written was very self-indulgent and like kind of confusing if you were just trying to find out why the show is good, you know?
Right.
But it was fascinating because it made me realize that I was already like, in a way, I was already over the show by the time I started talking about it. Because like when I like tell the whole story, it was basically that like in early 2012, I'd watched the show, gotten way into it, consumed everything on Equestria Daily for like 2 months, wrote some posts about it during like the summer, and then basically just because it was off season and like, you know, there's not that much good stuff coming out of the fan base, like I just kind of stopped. And I had spent like months doing nothing but playing video games and like writing video game analysis videos, and like I was really into the idea of becoming a video game analyst. And then like the show came back, and just for funsies I was like, let's write a couple analysis videos about it, and then like those were popular, so I kept doing it. But it was like, at the time, I was not like a huge, like this wasn't my whole life. It was like, I'm into video games and My Little Pony comes out once a week, and it's easy enough to just slot that in and be like, Saturday rolls around, there's a new episode, I cover it, you know, and I'm done with the video by the end of that day. And then the rest of my week is not spent like obsessing over this show, you know. I was trying to replay Mass Effect and write a video about it and work at Target. But like, I think because of the fact that I decided to then do 2 videos a week, and like I got so focused on like all my whole life is just Target and make My Little Pony videos, and then like, you know, started to gain some traction in the fandom, it was like I then cared. But it was just like, it was really fascinating to think that like basically I was coming back to a show I had liked before and being like, hey, you know, here's what was interesting about this show that I was super into last year, you know. And then like just somehow ended up involved on a deeper level again, you know. I guess I had nothing better to do. It was just trippy to remember like the timetable of all of it, because in my mind it's just like, yeah, I was into MLP for a while, but it kind of wasn't even like that. I'm gonna look through the chat.
Whoa, I got fucking flat. Alright, that doesn't work.
Someone said the old guard are all playing their NES machines, having a grand old time. Where are the daily videos? I was enjoying that shit. From who? Tom?
Maybe.
Are you not making them anymore? You've still been making a lot of videos, right?
I'm doing weekly now.
Oh.
Those dogs fucked me up good. Okay. Alright.
Digi Daily and Comfy Cast were peak late night content or early morning content. Yeah, they were meant for early morning. Like, I would release the Digi Daily super early so that they could be something you listen to, like, while you're waking up. Because that's how I watch SNES Drunken Needle Drop. But, hey, Tom, when and where will that Python podcast come out?
Munchie's editing it, so you're gonna have to ask Munchie. We recorded 2 episodes so far.
That was fast.
The weekly.
Time has been passing way too fast this month.
Dude,
November, like,
ever since
and
I
it was
got
done.
here, time has been going at Mach speed. Oh my god.
Like, back October felt long.
I think this is what the Dodgers are for. These guys specifically, because I'm getting wrecked.
I guess if I think of about like how, you know, when it was like that birthday weekend, there was like a lot going on then. But like, for the most part, November has just been like a blur to me.
Yeah.
Cause like,
oh, sick hacks.
most of what I've done this month is like start up really big projects, and then like none of them have really seen the light of day yet because they are so big. And like, Devu finished the Log Horizon video, but it got blocked when he uploaded it, so I'm waiting for it to be reconfigured again to be acceptable. But yeah. Oh boy. I'm with Tom. Digi's voice is just fading in and out for me. Too focused on cute dragon.
Dude, this game is my jam. It's very weird to play this game because it plays old, but it looks new, and my brain doesn't understand. Dude, that is my Dragon Sona. He had my mustache and my hat. You missed it. It was amazing.
I can see him now. Yeah, he is you.
Oh god, it's Toasty. I remember him being infamous.
No thank you says, the mistake Digi is making is thinking in black and white. Jobs that are just money are very boring for most people. Jobs that are just creativity make very little money. Most people can't take either and fall somewhere in between. I guess. I feel like... I guess I understand why you just want to feel like you're doing something semi-creative and making money off of it, and this is the path of least resistance to that. But like,
God, it hurts.
I don't know. It's just like, if you are someone who like gets into media criticism, I feel like you would only even really be cognizant of it because there was stuff that you liked. And maybe it is just like a cycle of fucking like normies, just like a guy reads a fucking magazine reviews and he's like, I want to write magazine reviews, and he writes the exact same thing, and it like, I don't know. I mean, that's how I was as a kid. Like, I didn't have like great writers that I looked up to or anything. I just liked the formula of reviews. Like, I liked the idea of this like consistent thing that was always in the back of a magazine and had like a grand meta narrative because you could compare all the scores to each other, you know? It's like when I was a kid, I just cared about review scores a whole lot because they're interesting for comparison, you know? But like, do people stay that way? Maybe. Maybe
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, I would say the vast majority of people do. Fucking cowards. Fight me. Everyone's like dropping little eggs that give me like 1/20th of a new life or something instead of gems now. I guess they put a cap on the gems or something.
Evangelion on Netflix. I'm pretty like, I'm kind of really impressed, honestly. Like, I've been saying for years that like legal streaming is a fucking joke because Evangelion is not available anywhere. And it's like, you can't try to become, like, if you're trying to become like a hardcore anime fan in any year and you don't have the opportunity to watch Ava, like, you're never going to get, you're never going to be able to move past, there's like a wall there, you know? It's like, if you want to be like that invested in like anime history and like what people care about, it's like a necessary mandatory viewing, you know?
All dragons found.
I'm not one of those people who thinks that like you can't talk about something unless you've seen the canon. because I think that all perspectives can be interesting, and even people who don't watch that much anime can say interesting things about anime. But for you as like an individual, if you want to have the identity of like being a hardcore anime fan, like if that's how you want to see yourself, is like, I want to get involved in this thing, I want to know everything about it, I want to study it, and then like the media is telling you like, don't download anime, like don't consume it illegally, and you're like, well, I want to watch Ava, it's the most important anime of the last 25 years, like how the fuck am I supposed to watch this if I have to watch it legally, you know, because it's not available in any way other than like resale on eBay. So yeah, it's pretty nice that it's finally available somewhere.
What the fuck?
So legal streaming is less of a fucking joke. Tom, what book are you reading for the Python podcast with Manichi?
Learn Python the hard way.
Not Python for kids.
No.
I saw that at Barnes & Nobles. I was gonna buy it for you.
I mean, I'd have read it.
It was pretty adorable.
When I was learning Godot, I was watching a YouTube channel called Kids Can Code.
Hell yeah.
So, it was about my speed.
How do you feel about the fact that only one game is on disc for Spyro?
Pretty pissed off, actually.
Really? Only one
Is
game
that
on
still
disc?
true? I thought they fixed that.
I thought they did too. That's what everyone said the reason it was delayed. But then someone in one of our older streams was like, no, that didn't happen. They just delayed it because they're gay. Or maybe my idea from Bob was like, this is stupid. We shouldn't do this. And Activision's like, but money though. See, what sucks about this is that really only this game's been technically remastered and re-released, because the other two are on servers and they will go down eventually, and they won't exist.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the right stick to get a good look.
Oh, apparently even End of Ava is on Netflix. That's fucking excellent. It's the only way to watch it.
Oh, it's the wrong dinosaur man. This is great. This is a chill game. This and Pokemon Let's Go are just like the let's just relax and have a good old time.
It's because they know that pot's getting legal everywhere. This is all anybody wants. No thank you says, Ava is like Pulp Fiction for anime. When you first get into film, Pulp Fiction is the best film ever. Then when you get really into film, you think it's baby shit because you remember not knowing what you know now, and you can now appreciate he's moving much more nuanced shit. Then when you are just balls fucking deep into film, you think it's good again because you are beyond things like popularity. With Ava, I would say it's like the older you get, the more you realize there was stuff that, I mean, some people only, you know, see Ava for the first time as adults, and they probably get it just fine all the way through. But like, if you grow up with the show, or if you watch it multiple times and like you fixate on different things, you just realize that like there's kind of not a wasted second in Evangelion. Like, it's always telling you something about the characters or the world, sometimes in multiple ways at the same time, and like the more you think about each image, you'll be like, oh hey, I didn't even realize like what was going on in this shot, or like what this you know, what this character's mannerisms or what they're wearing says about them, you know. And you can just keep going through it and be like, everything was thought of, everything was considered. It's fucking genius. What the fuck?
Dude, everything's good right now. man. This game's controls are tight AF.
People talking about what is a normie. You gotta watch the recording of our Halo, probably whatever was the last episode of our Halo Let's Play or stream series, where we broke down all the different levels of normie.
We did do that. We had a whole tier list.
Yeah. I gotta clip that. I gotta find like the best clips from this show.
We do.
Upload them.
We should crowdsource them. If you guys think...
Yeah, if there's any particularly memorable moments from the history of IM Games that you'd love to see uploaded on After Dark or something, let me know.
Like Ninja Suffering.
Yeah.
The legend of Ninja Suffering.
Did you, bro, have you watched Electric Dragon 80,000 Volts? I have. It's one of my favorite movies. I have it on DVD.
What the hell's a DVD?
I know, right?
Any comment about the Jackie drama?
Did somebody ask that?
No, just I wonder.
Are you asking me if anybody has asked about it?
Yeah.
No, nobody's asked about it.
They probably will now, though.
I don't know enough about it to comment on it myself. I'd rather avoid. Did you hear about it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How can I not?
How long until Gigi changes his mind about the direction he wants his content to go for the 20th time? I mean, assumably, like, every day. You should just assume that every day I'm thinking about the change in how I want my channel's content to go. If you ever release a vlog in 60 frames per second, I will ride your dick into the ground.
Sounds like a deal.
Not something I need, but I think I've released video. Well, maybe I haven't. I don't think my camera films in 60 FPS, but more importantly, I don't know if I can render that without Vegas crashing.
I don't know. You have a big dick computer now.
Yeah. Is it a big dick computer? Like, how big is my dick as a computer?
You're in like the top 95th percentile of CPUs.
Can I like render 4K?
Yeah, you could render 4. People use a CPU to render 4K 60 all the time. That's like what it's designed for.
Well, that's excellent.
It's
I probably would do that.
8700K.
Right now, I'm having a big problem with data management, i.e., my shit is full. I need to move more shit off of it.
We have the server. What it's there.
Yeah, I know. I need to, like... My fucking files are in the most disarray imaginable. And I came to realize, like, the other day that this is actually a big problem I need to solve. Because, like... Okay, the reason that my Patreon commentaries have been, like, a clusterfuck for months now. Because, do you know about the commentaries me and Devu did on my Patreon at all?
Yeah, that was, like, the whole reason I ripped apart that hard drive, right?
What do you mean?
Wasn't that one of the files you needed to recover? That was
oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, we do these commentaries on my old content, which I've canceled this tier because of the fact that, like, me and Devu just can't find time to do it anymore, and, like, it's so hard to keep these videos online, because originally I was uploading them onto, like, a hidden YouTube channel, but eventually they started getting copyright struck and taken down, and that channel got whole cloth, like, removed from YouTube. So then I started uploading them on Drive, and this wasn't a problem for a long time, but then they started getting systematically removed from Drive for copyright issues. And then, like, at first it was just a couple, and then it was, like, half of them. So finally I'm putting them on BitChute, but, like, because of the fact that generally every time I have a new hard drive, I just make a folder on there called videos, and I just throw every completed video into it. Because I make videos fucking constantly. So if I kept them on my active hard drive, it would always be full. So I have to constantly, like, move... Every time I do a few videos, I, like, move them all to a different drive and throw them in a folder just called videos on that drive. But now I've got, like, several hard drives, and I've been doing this for 6 fucking years, and I've got 3,000 videos. So every time I want to find something, I have to go digging for it, and none of the titles ever make any fucking sense. Even, like... The commentaries, luckily, are mostly called, like, comment July, comment August, comment September, but I've been doing it for years, so I don't know which ones are which. And in the archive, they're numbered. So it's like, finding anything that's missing is such a big pain. And like, people are always asking me like, you know, oh, this video's down, like, can we have access to it? And usually I'm just like, I'm waiting for it to get republished on YouTube. Now, if my files were organized enough to where I could just find that file immediately, like, if a video went down and I just went, oh, let me fucking throw that up in my archive until it comes back, I think people would appreciate that a lot. But I've never been willing to like dig through all my hard drives trying to find a fucking video that might have an obscure title, you know? Because I usually just name the file after like whatever the last 2 words I heard in the video were or something like that, you know? So like a lot of them have really bizarre names. Or like when Devu sends me the files that he makes, he usually gives them some kind of joke title. Or like I'm trying to remember what there was like one video that was like one of the Steins Gate videos just called Regular Gate or something like that. Like they get some, I'm trying to think of like a funny one. He gives some fucking hilarious titles to the files, but then I don't know what the hell they are afterwards. So like, yeah, I have to go through and like not only organize all this shit into like consistent folders, like, you know, vlogs, and then you click on the vlogs folder and it's like by year, and it's like then you click on the year and it's by month, and that would be nice, you know, and then like the titles all make sense. But that sounds like a lot of work. Like that would be probably 2 days worth of just organizing and renaming shit. Maybe just 1 day. It would be a long day. But I went through a lot of that to fix my Patreon archive and commentaries, which I did. And I just mailed out my first care package today, my first 10 envelopes. I overspent because I didn't listen to Mark's advice on how to mail them, so everything costed more than it should.
What did you do?
Well, I had them all, they're just in envelopes with like a flash drive and some shit in it. And Mark was like, you could probably just put some stamps on these and mail them. And I was like, I don't know if that's true. Also, like, 3 of these are international, so, like, we might as well mail them all at the post office. But I guess just because of the shape of them, the post office was like, oh, we have to do this, like, as a package first class. So, like, all the domestic ones were $3.50 a piece, and the 3 internationals were, like, $10, $10, and $14. So it was like $60 to mail 10 letters, 7 of them domestic.
Yeah, that is gay.
And they were under a pound, or under an ounce even, each.
Yeah, you got fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they told me, like, this is the cheapest way to do it. Like, that's just straight up what he said. He was like, the cheapest way we can do this is $3.50.
The post office is retarded, and I think if you're going to do this, you should probably get a stamps.com account. And you can just print stamps off your printer.
What the fuck is... I never even heard of such a thing.
It's like a membership thing. You have to pay like a monthly thing, but it's way cheaper than $60.
Well, I mean, even if I had just got stamps, it would have been...
Stamps and put them on the ones, and then the international ones, yeah, you're gonna have to spend $10 to ship them.
Right.
But...
Yeah, I just... Because, like...
Just make those fuckers pay
I
for
used
it.
to always just... Like, I used to always just go to the post office.
You should just have a separate tier for international mailbag.
Well, yeah, I probably will have to do something like that. But, like, actually, that's a great idea. Just, like, a limit 5 international version, and then it's just, like, more expensive, I guess. Because there is no way to just, like, make it so, like, it's non-international on Patreon. You'd have to just warn people up front, which is a pain in the ass, because I don't want to have to communicate with people.
Well, that's why you have a separate tier, and if they do the wrong thing, you just be like, get fucked.
I already had one wrong thing from Jalen, because Jalen Harris signed up with 2 accounts, because the first one got, like, his main account had gotten declined when he tried to pay it, so he signed up with a different account and it filled 2 slots, but he sorted that out, so thank you, Jalen, for that one. But you know, I didn't even know that was possible. Like, I was like, if he got declined, why are you still considering him to be a patron in this slot? Like, and I'm limit 10, so like, if he hadn't fixed it himself, I would have had to, like, block his Patreon to make that problem go away. Very stupid. Very weird. But yeah, like, because of the fact that, like, back when I was living in Virginia Beach, I never owned any stamps. So every single time I wanted to mail something, I just went to the post office and had them mail it for me. And usually they just put a stamp on it and tell you, like, that's 35 cents. And then they throw it in the mailbox. So I was worried that with these packages being, like, a little heavier, maybe that's why they would cost more. And so when the guy told me, like, the cheapest we can do is $3.50 each, I was like, okay, go for it. But then we're looking at the chart, and May's like, well, it says, like, envelopes are 50 cents, and, like, a big envelope is, like, $1. So,
as long as it's under, like, an ounce?
right. So it seems weird that he marked mine as a package as opposed to as an envelope. Even if it was underweight for, like, what was afforded. But like, he just said this is the cheapest we could do it, and I just believed him. But now I'm like, I don't think that was the cheapest you could have done it, you know?
You could have literally gotten it for free. Just put stamps on the domestic ones.
Well, it's not free. You have to pay for the stamps.
Yeah, but we have stamps.
Right.
You could put stamps on the domestic ones, and then...
Yeah.
Like...
I let myself...
Get better packaging for the internet.
I let myself get fucked by listening to this guy. And also, it was, like, 4:30, so I didn't want to have to, like, go home and rethink it, because I wanted them to just go out today.
Yeah, I
so,
mean, like, if you wanted them to be protected and stuff, what you wanted.
Yeah.
Because, like, you were afraid of them getting damaged in the mail, so...
Yeah, and they still could get damaged in the mail, but,
I would just, like, rethink the packaging.
Yeah, next time I'll definitely use, like, a big envelope, and... Because I just kind of threw them in envelopes that we happen to have, because I was like, well, let's see... I kind of wanted to... It was a weird test experiment, because I was simultaneously trying to see how cheaply I could make the package, but also to find out, like, what is the most it could cost in a way. Because it was like, you know, I don't know what the overhead of this should be. Like, can I get super cheap USBs, or will half of them show up effective? Because, like, a lot of reviews were, like, really negative for a lot of the package deals on USBs. So I almost spent like $50 on just the 10 USBs, but then I decided to, like, there was one like $30 pack or so that was like okay rated, like that none of the other, like, or it was actually well rated in fact, but like the other ones were all like mediocre ratings. So I got it, and like all 10 of them worked, so that was a weight off of my back, you know. But then it was like, what size of envelopes is like the minimum I could get away with? Let's go with this. Well, alright, but like, let's open international shipping just to find out what's the most it could possibly cost to ship. It's just like, everything about it is kind of a test. But I definitely spent like $20 more on shipping than I had to.
Wait. I just had a realization. I have a really bad migraine right now. I'm chill. I'm like in this weird between mode of like super chill and like super in pain. But I just had a realization.
Yeah.
Welcome to I Am Games, the most not technical problems stream on Twitch.tv.
Yeah.
We had no issues today.
We did not.
We literally just hit a button and went.
Had I not shown up earlier to do the update for the game, we would have had issues.
But we did it.
Yeah.
I had the game downloaded from before. We came in and fucking did everything.
The PS4 was hooked up. The stream box was working.
Streaming is supposed to be.
Yeah. You're supposed to walk in the room and hit start and go.
I don't even understand. It doesn't even...
Do you have a migraine because you're just like trying to play a game, but you've got like this incessant voice like constantly happening next to you?
No, it's because I was staring at a monitor in the dark for like 4 hours playing Deus Ex Mankind Divided before we started.
That was foolish.
It was, but it was really fun. Apparently, the reason I did it, dude, it took. I started downloading Mankind Divided last night. At like 9. I think it finished this morning at like 6 a.m.
Amazing.
Because the game's like 1 billion gigabytes.
Have you not played it yet?
No, the reason I downloaded it, I didn't even want to leave a level. I accidentally did it. The reason I wanted to be downloaded is because apparently at some point in March, Square was just like, well, this game flopped. All the DLC's free now, and I automatically got all like the DLC. And the reason people were pissed about the game is like half the game was pulled out and made DLC. So I'm like, oh, I can play all like the rest of the game now because I didn't have to pay another $45 for the season pass. That's what I'm doing right now.
Haven't you listened to anime that tells you that you have to sit at least 2 meters from the screen in a well-lit room?
Well, the problem is if I sit too close, I get headaches, but if I sit too far, I have bad, like, far eyesight, so I get headaches as well. And I have glasses, but I only got them, like, literally, like, 3 days before I moved in here. And I never used them. I used them when we were playing Spider-Man. It helped a lot, because I could actually read the text in the game, which was amazing.
So when I was talking about how there's not a wasted second in Ava, someone said Magma Diver is pretty useless though. I almost always skip it. I totally disagree. I do think so. When I was rewatching Ava back in 2015 and writing all my videos about it, like when I got to Magma Diver, that was where I had stopped because I just from that point forward, I didn't have enough to say about the next few episodes to do videos on them individually. However, rewatching it again later, first of all, like, the main thing about Magma Diver is meant to be, like, the sexual tension of that Asuka wants to fuck Shinji. Or anybody. She's just, like, she's, like, really horny and really repressed, and she's like she's trying to flirt with Shinji in the opening scene, and he doesn't pick up on it at all. Like, he doesn't seem to understand what's happening. He is just like very regular in his responses. She's trying to talk about thermal expansion as like a sexual metaphor, you know, because like, oh, when things get hot they expand, and her tits are in his face, and he just totally blows it off, and she's like, you are a boring man. And later into the episode, what you're really meant to get out of her Magma Dive is like, Asuka was, like, fully ready to die in this scene. Like, they portray it like she is, like, basically gonna die. And Shinji, like, I think risks himself to save her. Like, I believe he dives into the magma and, like, grabs her fucking rope and pulls her up. Or maybe it was even Rei. I don't remember who does it, but, like, it was, like, Asuka is just, like, in spite of the fact that she's been put into like this incredibly embarrassing situation that is like antithetical to what she wants out of this job. Like, she wants to be like a cool, brave hero who fucking saves the day, but she will nonetheless like lay her life down even in this lame ass scenario just because she's like, you know, I'm a fucking Ava pilot. Like, this is my life. And you know, and that's what I remember off the top of my head about why that episode's good.
I don't remember that episode at all.
It's the one where Asuka wears a fat suit and she has to go into a fucking volcano.
I remember a fat suit, but I don't remember the context of it.
Well,
it's been a while since I've watched it.
Not the most popular episode. The fun thing about I Am Game streams is that because Digi is always quite behind on chat, he'll bring up a comment, then people will talk about it in the chat, then he'll move on. Then he'll get around to the people commenting on what he said, and it goes in a circle continuously, building multiple topics at once into trees of complexity and memes. Thank you. Somebody gets it. That is what I like about doing it this way, is that because I go back through the chat, something new will always have happened by the time I get back to the present, and therefore I can perpetuate this cycle of, you know, having things to say, continuing the conversation. There's a pin on the Discord with the normie chart. Well, that's good.
Oh yeah, that is true. I don't know what these eggs are, but I got two of them now.
What's the antonym of normie? Freak! Upload a clip of that story about Mark getting banned from Target.
That's true.
No, how about not?
How about yes?
What if I want a job at Target again?
I don't think you ever will.
But you got a job at Target after getting banned from Target in the first place. How do I fucking delete my stupid dyslexic comments? I don't know, you might be able to right click.
They're there forever. And they're embedded in the video anyways. We have the chat on screen.
I just watched Bakemonogatari. Am I an ascended human now? Actually, I'm not seeing the chat on screen, so maybe we are having technical difficulties.
Oh, Digi, I was so happy.
Unless just nobody's talking right
You
now.
ruined everything.
I even checked before the stream to make sure that the Streamlabs
I don't think
is
I've
working.
been this depressed in a long time, but like that instantly deflated everything about my life into nothing.
I'm sorry. But yeah, it doesn't look like the chat is on screen.
Fuck, forget it. I'm Games is
Surprised
canceled.
nobody mentioned it.
I'm Games is canceled forever.
I don't think anybody cared.
Digi is everything and nothing. Was Mark just laughing about it? It seemed that we finally got to where you brought up the Jackie drama, and somebody was like, "Is Mark just laughing about it?" It seemed like a pretty fucked situation from what I heard. Well,
They're both fucked. Like,
it is a fucked situation, but the thing is that like from our perspective, like just a couple of villains who are having their escapade together, like. You know, I don't know enough about Jackie to say anything about her as a person, like on a personal level. But, you know, I've got the secondhand accounts of Ben, and I've got like the way that she's acted on social media since then, and she seems like a total insane person. And then you've got Asperger, who I already knew was a total insane person. And whatever drama, and I don't even know what the drama is exactly because I haven't watched any of the videos about it or anything, but like it sounds like a whole clusterfuck of a couple of people who I don't trust at all doing, you know, being fucked for each other as anybody could have predicted would have happened, you know. That's my thoughts on the matter. Tom wisely has remained silent. You should have bought some stuff on Black Friday for more space.
whoa, you're so far behind.
I always
I remember
am.
seeing that like comment.
Black Friday, I bought a TV. I don't know what you mean by for more space.
Hard drive space.
Oh, yeah, probably. I'm pretty good on actual space, like in terms of having lots of hard drives. It was just the disorganization of them that made it a problem. Like Tom said, we have like a server set up. There's shitloads of space, but like moving stuff between the computers and the server can be a pain.
I worked my ass off on that.
Because some like I tried to transfer.
Probably not.
At one point, I tried to transfer something from it, and it just didn't work. But then other times it does, and then like I can't access it from the random computers in the house. Like they don't want to connect to a network. I think that might just be because they're running Windows 7. I'm not even sure. But I meant to come get you to try to help me fix that.
I'll have to figure it out. I guess I'd ask the chat, but since we're so far back, I won't know for hours. If like there are moves you get later that you get to other places, because a lot of things that seem out of reach, and I don't know if I get new abilities or if I'm just retarded. And it's too good, too clever for my tiny brain. Alright, I'm going back home. See if we got a lot more stuff.
I went for the $10 tier earlier this year for those D&D commentaries, but now, oh well, haha. I don't know what he's referring to.
D&D?
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. Satan's
I think he meant Digi and Devu commentaries.
DG and Devu.
I gotta not be this far back in the chat anymore.
Game.
I don't even know what the hell's going on.
How many viewers do we have right now?
We have 82 viewers.
Alright, I was gonna say maybe we have more viewers than usual, but that's pretty normal.
Everybody agrees that this game looks really good.
This game is incredible. Everyone thinks this game's good except for Hippo. He thinks it looks really ugly. We had a disagreement on Twitter about it.
He doesn't like how this game looks?
Yeah, he thinks it looks really ugly.
I can see why. It does kind of look like Sonic Boom.
Why would you insult this game like that? How does it look like Sonic Boom?
This level looks like a level in Sonic Boom. There's a place that looks exactly like this in that game.
There's a cartoon desert in a cartoon game.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a very surface level comparison.
Well, you'd have to look at it yourself and tell me.
I guess so. I want to go places. I want to explore. It's interesting how small everything is in this game. Like, the levels are very small because it's a PlayStation 1 game. And you'd expect, like, this kind of shit would not fly in 2018. Like, it would have to be bigger and flashier. But, I like the simplicity. I like that there's not a lot going on. Fuck you. Fuck you too.
Did you, bro? I haven't left my room in 3 months and the piss bottles are starting to pile up. I'm a legit normal guy, just that I have a microwave oven and no reason to go outside. What could I do out there? Need some motivation, anything, and I'll do it. Do you not have a bathroom?
It sounds like the motivation is get rid of the fucking piss bottles.
Yeah, go to the bathroom. Other than that, though,
I have a question.
I have no reason to advise you to leave your room. I mean, a
If you
microwave
haven't
is
left
not the
your room,
best.
where's all the shit going?
Yeah, where are the shits going?
Are you just sitting on a hardened
Instead
pile
of
of
a
your own
microwave
shit?
oven, get a toaster oven and like a hot plate, and then you can make anything.
I need a toaster.
We came in 24th today in the calls. It's
Yeah.
now a leaderboard.
24th out of how many?
Out of everybody who's playing.
How many is that?
I don't know. A lot.
I don't know if I want to know the answer to
Weren't
that.
you like 5th place yesterday?
Yeah, because I was doing it like early, but like because I went to bed at like over your time. I got knocked out.
Dude, if you start at like midnight, you'll probably be
No,
number one
there's some
for at
people
least a
who got
while.
like 400 points, and I only got like 67.
Damn.
So there's no way, but like
Some fucked up shit.
those people probably paid to win. You
Whoa.
know?
Studies have shown that dyslexics are far better at lateral thinking than the average peeps, and dyslexia is the neurological opposite of autism, so you can't rope them under your autism umbrella.
You can't be autistic and dyslexic.
That can't be fucking true. That's gotta be false, because my fucking friend Kyle growing up was definitely both of those things. And he was a like, I don't know how, what kind of lateral thinking you're supposed to be better at, but he was a fucking moron. It was like he was dead. He's still around. He's a cool guy, but he's the guy who you could hear the this this one track on one of my albums called An Inane Conversation Between Dumbasses, where I'm talking to him over Skype through Shade Skype while I'm recording, and he's like, tomatoes are considered fruits, and I'm like, but they're vegetables, they grow in the ground, and he's like, yeah, but it's hard to explain. And then I'm like, well, I guess it makes sense because like pizza is considered a vegetable, and like so tomatoes are on pizza. And then he goes, yeah, the government's all sorts of fucked up. I was just like, yup, and then I clipped that and put it on my album. It's on Memo Music from 2011. Please make Azumi game available on Linux. I know it's a hassle, but also think about how cool you'll look when you say, yeah, it's on Windows, Mac, and Linux. I think Azumi and the vertical slice works because it's in a browser, but I'm saying for future games.
I plan on having everything be cross-platform. In fact, if I could do everything with WebGL, I would.
What anime other than Karekano have the warning about being meters away from the TV in a light room? A lot of them. That was like very common in the 2000s for anime to have some kind of notation about that. Hayate the Combat Butler would do like a whole skit about it at the start of each episode.
So I guess the soundtrack to this game is like beloved.
Yeah.
They remixed the whole thing. But they also included the original soundtrack, which I thought was a very good call by them to not piss off the fanboys.
They should have included the original graphics too.
Who wants to look at PlayStation 1 graphics?
How many Spyro fanboys are there?
Oh, there.
I know there are people who like are nostalgic for Spyro and like it.
I don't think there are a lot.
It seems from my casual observation that the people who are like the autistic kind of fanboying and fangirling comes from the Legend of Spyro series, not this one. These are the ones that are the better games and people are nostalgic for.
What about Skylanders?
Nobody likes Skylanders. Skylanders is the worst.
I think that because there's a character by Yotam Perel, the animator, that is like this overwhelmingly hardcore Spyro fan, but he seems like he's more meant to be like a pseudo parody of a Sonic fan, but like for Spyro. But he's a Spyro fan.
The Legend of Spyro fans remind me of Sonic.
But the Yotam character is great. If you haven't seen his videos, I don't remember what the fuck they're called. It's just like Spyro fan animations. They're pretty funny.
This was the PlayStation fanboys Mario back in the day. This is what you got. This is what you had. You had a PS1. Everyone else playing Mario 64. You're like, well, Crash Bandicoot's not really the same thing. Spyro's 3D. I'm going with Spyro.
Digi, have you seen Suzuki Dogezaimon's Nazca hentai, the princess who loved insects? It's pretty lore heavy, and she just has crazy insect sex and transforms into a weird insect human girl. Link me, please. Because that sounds fucking bizarre and great.
Where do we go?
I was basically a hiki in 8th grade, always at home reading manga, listening to music, and even though I failed 8th grade, I would still do it again if I could. That was literally all I wanted out of life. I feel you, dude. Wow. Turn the cheer alerts on. You missed my cheer when I asked about your top 10 rappers. I don't know how to turn them on, but my top 10 rappers are Denzel
Aren't
Curry.
Cheers just bits?
Huh?
Aren't Cheers just bits?
Yeah, he gave us $1.
They should be on then. So everything's broken again.
I told you that the fucking Streamlabs shit wasn't showing up. If the chat's broken, it always means the cheers are broken.
Welcome to I Am Games, the worst thing I've ever done with my life.
Yeah. Top 10 rappers. Denzel Curry, Kendrick Lamar, Chance the Rapper, fucking Dialect. These are not necessarily in order. Fucking, I don't know, who else, who do I listen to a lot of, Mark? Do you know? Lil Ugly Mane, definitely up there, the top 10. Maybe Run the Jewels. That's not a rapper, but MC Ride from Death Grips. Fucking, I need like 2 or 3 more. I like Eminem back in the day.
How do I break these chests?
I like most of the guys in the Wu-Tang Clan. Cities of Eve. I wouldn't put him in the top 10 though. I'm trying to think like who else belongs in the top 10. Like I don't think I would put maybe Earl Sweatshirt.
Earl Sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a guy.
No! I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do.
I don't know what this means, but Jess's comments on mental illness in the last PCP episode made me a Batman fan again. Was he talking about like beating up people with mental illnesses and putting them in fucking Arkham or something? Like,
no, I don't even. I was on it. I don't know what he's referring to.
Well, the first Spyro has no new abilities. Anywhere you see, you can get to.
Well, I suck ass. So I guess that means I can open these up too. Some ability I don't know that I have. Something I can do.
Alright, 2 anime questions I'm getting in a row. Thoughts on Zombieland Saga suddenly blowing up in Japan? And also, I saw you dropped Gridman. Why, though? Okay, so Zombieland Saga, I'm surprised it didn't blow up sooner since the first 2 episodes were pretty great and noteworthy. I heard that the later episodes have gotten into, like, sort of, like, each character is getting their, like, backstory, and I'm sure that that's had a lot to contribute to their popularity. I know that the one Zombo turned out to be a little boy, and everybody's like, oh, maybe that's why. But I have no further thoughts on it. As for Gridman, the first 2 episodes, I think I watched like an episode and a half, and it just blew ass. I didn't think anything was good about it. People kept saying like you should watch it for the layouts, and like sometimes an image would be like well laid out, but like it's still like cheap ass stock backgrounds, and like it was mega inconsistent in like every aspect it could be. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it in any way. I watched an episode and a half and was like, this kind of sucks. And then I was like, I guess that's kind of what most people feel about it. Like, the common opinion is Gridman's not that good, it just has hot girls. But, like, because there are certain people who are, like, defending it so adamantly, like, I guess it's... And, you know, the fact that it's Trigger. But, yeah, I don't know. I watched it and I was just like, I don't get it.
Oh my god, what is happening right now? I just got fucking railed and couldn't move. Okay.
Digi, are you going to be able to handle ranting about topics from 40+ patrons in that tier? Yeah, I just gotta rant one after another. I mean, I didn't make any length promises or anything, so... Depends on what they ask me about. Somebody gives me... I doubt any rant will last more than, like, 10 minutes, unless somebody asks me a really complex question. But, The absolute state of Texas weed law. My city is debating on a policy to allow the police to decide at the scene whether to arrest or just issue a citation to anyone committing a minor crime, mostly weed. Weird. Just let the police just figure it out.
That was a much better performance. Want the key. The key.
Original soundtrack for this game was produced by Stuart Copeland, which is why you get the option for both, I'd say. He makes great tracks that I don't think have aged badly by any means. The Reignited OST is good in its own way, too. Sick. Stuart Copeland, the drummer for The Police, apparently. You know the band The Police, right?
I do know the Police. This guy looks dope.
Watch his back.
My dad is a really big fan of The Police.
Really?
Yeah, it's like his favorite band.
He didn't strike me as someone who respects authority.
Oh, that's funny.
This guy's butt. Oh, it hurts.
You know that Earth's rotation is getting slower over time, and that a day will become more than 24 hours.
What the fuck? Is this like? Is this a bad thing? Or a good thing?
It doesn't sound like a good thing. No, no, no! Oh my god.
Digi, you don't listen to MF Doom. You're officially not white. Thank you. I think that's a compliment, right?
What is MF Doom?
You don't even know what MF Doom is?
Is that a mod for Doom?
Oh boy, you ever listen to any Gorillaz?
No.
Well, forget it then. It's a very, very popular... He's like a rapper who is very beloved for his like technical ability and like weird wordplay and sound and like mysterious identity. He's like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper kind of thing. But I've never been a huge fan as compared to most people. Oh, David Diggs, thank you for... That's another person who belongs to my top 10 favorite rappers. The rapper from Clipping. Oh my god. We Gonzo Collins. Are autistic people capable of thinking outside the box if obsessive focus defines them? I would say so. I don't see why it would be impossible.
Just because you're obsessively focused on something doesn't mean you can't think creatively. It means you're going to think very creatively to stay on task. Fuck.
Here is the bug fuck chapter. They just posted like a link, like a slash a bunch of numbers. Will this be enough to take me where I need to go? I got Goblin Slayer anime POW forums. Is this what I'm looking for? Oh, it's an hentai.
Ben apparently sent you bits, but you're so far behind his chat.
Ben sent us 5 bits. I don't know why yet. Oh, he got overtaken by Infinite Walrus, giving us 15 bits.
We
But
need more bits. Where's Drunk Toya?
I have to make it to the present.
I currently have earned 174 bits by watching ads.
Excellent.
Do you feel rich?
No. No, I don't.
How much money is that? It's a bit.
Almost $2. I might donate it once it's $200, but I figure...
No thank you says, in the Jurassic era, 200 million years ago, the day was perhaps 23 hours long, and each year had about 385 days. Earth has been slowing down for a long time, but very gradually, of course.
Dude, imagine when it just stops. It's gonna be the crazy
Ben
shit.
says, I spent 30 seconds of my life earning those bits, you're welcome. Oh, each one had like a gay pride flag that he posted with it. And then Infinite Walruses gave 15 with the same pride flag. Had to take the second spot from Ben. How do you convince yourself to make something that you aren't obviously focused on? I need to write cover letters and they really fucking wear on you. I don't know how to do that thing you're describing.
Yeah, I don't either.
If I did, my life would be very different, probably. I.e., things would come out one after another in a linear fashion. Instead, what I do is I just try to always have multiple things available for me to do that I can bounce between. If I super can't focus on something, I'll just keep inventing new things to do. This is why the Tales of Fantasia video hasn't been edited yet. Because it's 54 minutes long, and every time I look at it, I go, I don't have the focus to make this. Let me go make something else. And then I go and make something else. But I've edited like 3 minutes of it. Of the 53 minutes that it is.
You're in trouble.
Well, the first few minutes were pretty rather, the first few minutes were the hardest part, is what I meant to say. And they were still pretty easy. So it shouldn't take too long to edit. But, you know, I had expected my Log Horizon video to already be out. And I think it's done now, though. Digi and Tom, is there a clear criteria for the creator to know if one of your videos will get demonetized or striked? How do you combat it?
It's a purely defensive thing.
Yeah.
You never really know. I mean, Digi has best practices, you know.
Your
keep
best
the clip short.
Yeah, if you keep your clips, if you keep everything you're using under 10 seconds long, you will make it past content ID. However, they will probably, like, if you get a strike in spite of doing things that way, it means that whoever issued the strike personally came and fucked with you. And they're probably wrong, and you can probably get it, you can probably fight it, but, like, it's a pain. It's always a pain, because basically every company is going to try to make it as easy for themselves as possible, and, like, try to fight you as hard as possible. So, like, YouTube will make it so it's like, oh, you submitted a counter notification, they have 2 weeks to respond. So what they'll do is they'll just get the notification, they won't pay attention, they'll wait out the whole 2 weeks, and then you'll get your video back. Because they're hoping that you just won't even do that, you know? It's very rare that a company will reinstate your video sooner than that. Because most of them just don't give a shit about you at all. Have either of you guys ever watched ContraPoints? I used to watch ContraPoints.
I've seen a few ContraPoints videos.
I kind of lost interest just because I don't want to have to hear about politics for like 25 minutes at a time.
I lost interest because I disagree with almost everything ContraPoints has to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I agreed with basically everything they had to say from the time I was watching.
I've only seen a couple ContraPoints videos, so I can't really say I disagree with everything because I haven't watched them all.
Studio Shaft might die. A lot of their staff members left. What are your thoughts on this? I haven't heard about that. Where did they all go?
Trigger.
I mean, studios dying because their staff left is like the natural process of how studios get made. Especially these days when, like, I think a lot of people are just, like, fed up with being part of, like, corporate structures and just want to see if they can do it better themselves, you know? Or they just get talented enough that they're like, hey, I can have my own, you know? Like, I don't know if I told this story somewhere. I'm sure I did, but I don't know where. At Otakon, a few years back, when the Do-Da-Da-Da sequels were starting up, the producer of the show was at Otakon, and I asked her, like, what made you guys decide to, like, leave and form another studio and pick this back up, and is there any chance that you'll do Bakano as well, because she was also the producer on that. And she just basically said, like, whenever you get to a certain level as a producer, you're just like, hey, I bet I could do my own, you know? Like, I don't need to be the second string producer at this studio. I can just go make my own studio and do my own projects and take my own risks, you know? So, that was basically what they did. They just left Brainspace and went to go work on Do-Da-Da-Da. Because Brainspace wasn't going to do it. Oh shit, we got a big donation somewhere along the line. It looks like some kind of war broke out for first place. Here we go. Maxed out EX gave us $10. Said, since the free McBoot saga was a bust, just take this. Go buy one from eBay or something. Oh, he must be the one who tried to send us the... Oh yeah, so I thought, because he sent us a McBoot, or he tried to send us a McBoot thing.
Free McBoot.
And my theory was that maybe the P.O. box was... Because last time I went to the P.O. box, there had been nothing in it. And I would assume this is just because I hadn't actually advertised it, like, since moving in, other than just, like, mentioning that I had one. So, because I hadn't actually put out a mailbag video. So then when he said that it got sent back, I thought maybe it was because I still haven't given a proof of ID of living in Massachusetts yet, because that was something that they told me I had to do. But we went to the P.O. box today, and there was a bunch of shit in it. So so I'm gonna have to record a mailbag probably tonight. Though it was weird because he had, like, in the box there were 3 of the yellow slip that they give you when they have something too big to fit in your box, but he only brought back 1 package. So I don't know if maybe some stuff had, like, been showed up, but then it got sent back. I have no fucking idea. P.O. boxes are weird, especially here in Massachusetts, because it hasn't been, like, the post office that I go to here is very different from the one that I used to go to. It was way bigger. But thank you anyway. Jalen then donated to get his top score back, because he was pissed off that somebody beat him. So he gave 655 bits to get back on top.
Hell yeah.
I encourage this type of competition. We Have Accepted Mediocrity came out in 2018. That was a pretty good anime. Thank you. Maxed Out says, no idea why it was sent back then. Makes no sense. Got it refunded anyway, so there you go. Good to know. All's well that ends well.
Supercharge? Excellent. Go ahead. Try it.
Pro tip, don't use any music from a band signed to UMG. They have their own content ID system that is hyperactive. Use my music instead. It's Creative Commons. Says no thank you music. What happened to Mirageathon? I have no idea. Do you know anything about that, Mark? What happened to Mirage? Is she still on Twitter or anything?
She on Discord messaged me like a week and a half ago, so she's probably fine.
Okay. I guess she's just not making shit. Probably busy with school or something. Digi, is editing a video game analysis easier than anime? Yes, by a long shot. First of all, video game footage is always interesting to look at no matter what you show, because things are constantly moving and it's like complex images. With anime, if you're not showing like an action scene or some kind of sakuga, it's just going to be guys standing on screen talking, flapping their mouths. Number 2, with anime, you can only get away with about 10 seconds per clip. With video games, it pretty much doesn't matter unless you're showing a cutscene. You can just show as much gameplay footage as you want. It's so variable. There's no way it's getting caught by Content ID. So, yeah, like when I make the videos for I Am Games, they take like nowhere near the time that a anime video would take, even if it was like the most simplistic anime video possible. Like, I don't think it's ever taken me more than like an hour or 2 to edit an I Am Games video. With the exception, of course, of the Tales of Fantasia one, because it is long as shit. And also the beginning is a little bit more like classic Digibro style analysis video, where there's like stuff on screen and shit. But yeah, it's way easier to edit video games than it is to edit anime. Like, imagine if I just threw this segment in a video. Like, you would watch, like, minutes of this just because it looks good, you know? And it's satisfying to see him go through the rings.
I was promised flight. I must have it.
Why does Tom think this game looks so bad? It's incredibly polished, especially the animations are some of the best I've seen. When did Tom ever say this looked bad?
I said Hippo thinks this game looks bad. I think it looks fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, Tom's in love with the way this looks. Hippo probably doesn't like it because it looks shiny and new, and he likes things that look like old and fuck.
Yeah, he was like, the shading looks shit and crap like that. Oh God, what am I doing?
What is my life?
Ask me myself that question all the time, Plinkett. Ugh. I missed it. Suck. Oh fuck, I keep missing.
Ever since we have accepted mediocrity, the public seems to have accepted mediocrity even more. Yeah. Honestly, that video is like, it kind of haunts me in a way, because like, We've Accepted Mediocrity was obviously like one of my best videos, but mostly for Devu's editing. Like him going like all out on the editing of that made it great. You know, for me it was just a rant basically. But like it put me in the mindset that like because that video was so successful and people seemed to be resonating with the message so hard, I was like, oh, this means that people surely like want more like well constructed shit, and like some people do. I've had some fans who are like upset that I'm not putting out things like on that level anymore because that's what they thought it was going to be when they patroned. But like the number of people who felt that way as compared to the actual like level of work it takes to do that much more in a video was not an equivalent exchange, essentially. Like people, I shouldn't have even just said we've accepted mediocrity. I should have said people prefer mediocrity. We prefer mediocrity because it can come out more frequently, and we really just care about wasting as much of our time as possible, even more than we do about, like, you know, seeing something amazing. Because, like, no matter how much emotional weight you might put on something that really, that you really care about, you will not put grossly more monetary weight on that than you will on something you barely care about. You know, your favorite game of all time you might buy for $60 once, and then you'll do the same thing with a game that you don't even care about, unless they release your favorite on multiple platforms. Like, we need more people who think like fucking Vadi Vidya, where he bought Dark Souls like 8 times just because he was like, every time I felt compelled to buy Dark Souls, I just bought it again to show it how much I appreciated it. And I'm like, what a god, you know? This is how we should all, like, that's what we should all be holding ourselves to. It's like, hey, you like this art? You gotta fucking throw some money at it, dude. Because, like, you're just getting it for free for doing nothing. But are you gonna pay for it? I ain't gonna pay for it. What are your thoughts on the aesthetic of the Reignited trilogy, Tom?
I think it's fucking gorgeous. Look at this shit. It's great. Usually I'm like a fucking uber FPS whore, but this is running at 30 and I don't mind. Just cause like it feels, I don't want to say cinematic, but like, I don't know, it feels like something you would see kind of in a movie. It feels like a kind of a Pixar sort of a feel. Not really. But like, because between like the kind of like cinematic look of everything, sort of, and the fact that there's a fair amount of motion blur to like smooth out the low frame rate, it's fine. It works good.
Captain Wiggle Muncher says, hey Digi, how long until your Discord is back up? I think you are mistaken. You probably just don't have a role currently on the Discord because you are not signed to one of the new tiers on there. Like if you are on like the $10 tier that I eradicated, or maybe I haven't killed it yet. I thought I did. Basically, you need to connect your Patreon to your Discord, and if that doesn't work, then message me because the Discord is up. I just changed all the roles. Tom, what are your thoughts on Flight Simulator X?
Flight Simulator games are gay. I don't play them.
What happened to the finish or fail videos? They are now my favorite main channel videos. They are the only videos of yours I actually watch instead of tabbing over. I assume you mean the one that I did? Or did you mean the... I don't know which ones you're referring to. Because I called... No, the Anime of the Week series was called Anime of the Week. finish or fail. It was finish or fail, and then finish or fail full dive, and will you rate Pokemon Gen 8 with May when it comes out?
Yes.
I will. We definitely are going to do that. Could one of you do an impression of George from Seinfeld? I'd have to have something to say. I don't even think I could do one.
I think I've watched maybe like 10 minutes of one Seinfeld episode in my life.
I had a weird experience in the, like, just kind of in the background when I was hanging out with May's family, because they were just kind of like offhandedly shitting on Seinfeld, like, huh, I had to watch an episode of Seinfeld, what? And I was like, everyone I've ever known thinks that Seinfeld is like one of the greatest television shows of all time. Like, Munchie's obsessed with Seinfeld. Victor watched it like twice. It's just a good show. It's just a good sitcom. I've never heard anyone say anything negative about it.
Hospital, they played Seinfeld 24/7.
It's a lot.
That's all anybody would agree to watching.
Because it's so easy to watch. It's so good.
No.
I'm not like a huge I'm not.
It's fine.
I'm not the type who would sit
It's
down.
not the best.
Like, I can't like sit down through a whole episode of Seinfeld because it's still a sitcom, and like I can't do sitcoms. Not if they have a laugh track. Like, if there's no laugh track, I can maybe do it. But even then, like, when Victor used to, like, obsessively watch Parks and Rec, I would sit in on some of it, and I'd be like, yeah, it's a good show. And I'd watch, like, 2 or 3 episodes, and then I'd get up and leave.
My sister marathoned that show, and like it was always on. It's just like, it's not that funny though.
It's not that funny.
It's not that.
It does have good, like, well, the
has
thing
some
about
good
Parks and Rec
bits,
is that it has
like-
good characters that actually, like, evolve over the course of the show. So there is that. Like, it's a way more narrative driven than most, you know, American comedy shows. But a lot of the times I feel as though American shows are just given credit for having continuity. Like, I think that for me, like, having continuity is not a novelty at all because I've watched hundreds of anime and I've been watching them since I was a kid. And I feel like every time somebody gets excited about an American show, they're like, wow, it has characters that actually develop. And I'm like, that should be normal. Like,
Yeah.
that's more indicative of how bad Western TV has
Yeah.
been than it is of how good it's getting now.
Did anybody? I've not heard anyone be excited about that in like forever.
Still, all the shows that get popular are just like, oh, it's actually like you know, like Star versus the Forces of Evil or something. Like, as soon as it had like narrative progress, everyone was like, oh, this show is great. You know, it's like that's what it takes. Is like, if there is a story, it's like, oh my god, cartoons are good now. You know. Wait, do you have to kill this guy?
No, but I want the egg. I don't know what it does, but I want it. I got 5 of them now.
Is the game good so far?
Yeah.
Why watch Seinfeld when you can watch Rick and Morty? I mean, I agree. I would rather watch Rick and Morty than Seinfeld. I still haven't really been able to get May into Rick and Morty because of the fact that by the time she like was catching on to it, it was already becoming gay. Like, it was becoming like, oh, it's oversaturated and nobody will shut up about it and people are being obnoxious
Dude, this
about
guy's
it.
textures are fucking sick.
Homeworld? Waterfall. Sounds good.
So, okay, Spyro has the same voice as Ratchet, right?
I don't think so.
He sounds
He's
very
voiced by
similar.
Tom Kenny.
By who?
Tom Kenny.
Who's Tom Penny?
Tom Kenny. He's like
Tom Kenny.
a voice actor guy.
They both have that very like huh kind of voice.
Oh my god.
Can we agree the current Western cartoon industry is a joke? I mean, was it ever not?
There's good Western cartoons.
Yeah, but was the industry ever not a joke?
I mean, I've never paid attention to the industry, Western cartoon or anime. I judge shows on individual merits, devoid of context.
Okay. Did you know Steven Hillenburg died today? Don't know who that is.
Guy who made SpongeBob.
Oh, really? The guy who made SpongeBob died?
He had ALS, I think.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Indeed. Yeah.
What had he done since SpongeBob?
I don't know if he's done anything. He
Well,
fucking had ALS.
Goodbye, SpongeBob guy. People don't realize that in reality, most Western shows and anime suck. At least if I were generalizing to the majority of predictable, inane schlock that comes out for both mediums, I guess they both have their own aesthetic, though. I mean, yeah. But, like, I feel as though there was a time when, with anime, consistently every season there were at least a few good shows, and you could count on at least one truly amazing thing coming out every year. Like, I don't know if I could say that about the way things are now. So I do know that, like, yeah, anime's never been all great, but, like, there's been times where the industry was healthier than it is at this moment, including just a couple years ago. Even in 2016, I thought things were a lot better off than they are now. And, like, with Western shows, I had always thought that they were just, like, by and large garbage for the longest time. And then, like, once they started, you know, like, once it became that, like, this rise to prominence of TV, where, like, everybody's trying to put more effort into it, like, I still think most of them are garbage that people are celebrating as, like, these amazing shows. And I think it's just that people are so new to the idea of, like, long-form narrative art that, like, every time they see something with compelling characters or, like, a gripping narrative, they're just like, oh my god, this is the greatest fucking show. And it's like, well, because you're new to this, but, like, there's hundreds of shows. Like, this should be the baseline. This should have been what it was like all along, and this is how it's been all along for anime, for decades, you know, is that, like, you're expected, at minimum, to have compelling characters and an interesting story and a continuous narrative, you know?
I think that's more just people who are looking at Western cartoons, because, like, live action shows, like American stuff, has been...
It didn't get good until, like, this decade.
I don't think that's true.
Like, long-form narrative TV shows didn't really become a thing until HBO, like, generated it in, like, 99.
I don't know about that.
From what...
Babylon 5 was amazing, and that was, like, early 90s, and there were other shows before that.
I guess if you count stuff like, do those have, like, a non-stop continuous narrative, or is it, like, episodic with a continuous narrative in the background? Because that's how, like, Star Trek was, is, like, you
Babylon
could
5
usually just watch any episode
both. It started episodic, and then there was a continuing story that kind of developed later.
Because I'm talking about shit like, you know, like Game of Thrones, like, where there's, like, you know, you have to see every episode to understand what's happening. Like, you can't just flip on the TV and it be on and you can, you know, pick up on what's going on, like, which is how TV was usually designed. And, like, HBO went against the grain on that, and everybody thought, well, that's HBO, they're different. But then once, like, streaming came into the picture and, like, people became more and more in tune to those kind of shows, and then, like, with the success of shows like The Office and Parks and Rec that were, like, involving more of that narrative element, it's just grown and grown. And then, like, when Breaking Bad was a huge hit, then it was just like the doors are fucking wide open now, and everybody's gonna try to make this kind of show, you know? And I think that's really happened in, like, the last decade. But I just, like, it's gotten to the point now where, like, everyone's doing that. Like, every show is just like it is with anime, you know?
Even earlier than Breaking Bad. I think Breaking that was when people were consuming TV more like as a whole, as a collective. But I would say like The Sopranos is probably like.
I mean, the thing, well, that's why I said, like, HBO did it first, but, like, everybody saw it as HBO's different because you have to pay for HBO,
there's, like,
you know?
reality TV shows where, like, you have to watch it. You have to watch it.
Yeah, but that's true. It was for, like, a season, though. Like, you usually were, like, following the season, and even those, like, they're designed in such a way that there's usually an individual story of that episode. Like, someone gets voted off at the end of every episode of Survivor. So if you just turn into a random episode, you're gonna see 2 competitions and a vote off, no matter what. And like you can understand what's happening. Like I used to my mom obsessively watches Survivor, so I used to come in and out of the room all the time while that was on. And like, you know, it's not hard to follow a reality show even if you're not keeping up because they're very simple. They're not like complex in their narrative presentation, you know? Like I think that the shows like Sopranos and 6 Feet Under and like The Wire that were on HBO, like were seen as this level of quality is only possible because people are paying for it and like making a big deal out of it and making it a part of their lives that they are somebody who watches HBO, and that like TV wasn't willing to go that far until like when like The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad both became like really big hits while doing like sequential storytelling. I think that sort of opened the floodgates that like everybody wanted to do it then, and like because those kind of things are right, exactly. And then like when like the binge culture really became, because like before Netflix was a thing, my parents would go out and just buy a show on DVD because they started selling full seasons of everything at FYE for $50. Yeah. Always $50. Doesn't matter what channel it is, what show it is. It's like, hey, like that was not a thing before the late 2000s. Like you could not just buy any show on DVD. Like anime was like that because it was the main way that you could watch it and the main way it made profit. But like TV shows didn't need DVD sales to make profit. But once they had it, shit got fucking wild because it was like, yeah, adults will throw down $50 to have something to do tonight or for the next couple days, you know, and just binge this show. And like my dad did that with all 5 seasons of The Wire. He did that with like all the older like shows that had been coming out at the time. And then once it caught on that you could like just stream this shit, and like HBO came out with HBO Now or HBO Go, me and Victor used to watch HBO Go like fucking crazy, just like streaming all the time. And like Game of Thrones like was the like most torrented thing ever, and like a lot of the success of the show is credited to like torrent binge watching, where like so many people were buying it on DVD at first, and then like other people would just like torrent it, watch the first 2 seasons, and then either buy an HBO Go subscription to watch the new season, or just go buy the DVDs afterwards. And like yeah, it was a big deal. And obviously DVDs and Blu-rays are fucking pretty much dead now, but like, you know, now they're making Netflix shows that are like 10 episode anime. Like there was a fucking recent Half in the Bag that we watched where they were reviewing a 10 episode Netflix horror show, and they were talking about like, oh yeah, this whole like limited length TV show. It's like kind of the difference. It's like if you're splitting the difference between a TV show and a movie. It's like you're getting a whole story for 8 hours. It's really an interesting release style. I'm like, this is all anime has ever been. Like, I've been used to this for fucking 15 years. This is like what I expect from a story, is that I'm gonna watch 13 episodes in a row and it will tell a consistent plot, you know? And like, this is why I don't find movies as interesting, because they're too short and you never get as involved with the characters as you do in a longer form narrative. This is also why I don't like American TV shows, because they go on forever and they don't have a really like cohesive like point to make. So like, the fact that this is like taken as a revelation in the West and people are like, wow, this show is good because it told a story for 8 hours. I'm like, that's not enough reason for me, you know? That's like how I felt watching that Half in the Bag. Like, it seemed like the main thing they were praising is like, wow, a horror story on this level that like is complete and like has enough room to say more than normal. And I'm like, yeah, that should be every show.
Yeah. I think all the formats have value.
I just think that there should always be the freedom to make things as long as they need to be.
Yeah, I think if people are going to primarily be consuming this kind of media online or through streaming services, why wouldn't they try to, you know,
make it however it needs to be.
Easier and more people would be into consuming because, like, the paradigms are changing. People aren't going to be turning on the TV to watch sitcoms once a week. They're going to go to Netflix.
I made a video back in 2015, I think. The it was like a video called like why anime, like why choose anime over other mediums. I don't remember exactly what it called. It used to be my channel trailer for a long time, where I basically made the argument that like the main appeal of anime is that it tells types of stories that just aren't being told in any other medium. And like the biggest ones that are the biggest draw are like super long form action narratives like Dragon Ball Z, which like there is nothing like DBZ in television, you know, that is only available in anime. And then like just pieces that, because they know it's only supposed to go for 12 or 24 episodes, they'll just get way more experimental and unique with a piece because it's not supposed to last forever, you know. The only stuff that goes on forever is stuff that's designed to go on forever. And in Japan that means kids shows that are action focused, and in America that means sitcoms. But like not every show needs to be designed that way, and now that they're finding ways to sell short form shows, it's becoming a big deal again, and I'm very happy. Anyway, I just ranted for like 15 minutes. Someone gave us $1 as all caps Digibro. It says, "Fuck you, Ben, I'm taking your medal."
Oh, shit.
No thank you says, "Also people always forget about Venture Bros. That is possibly the best Western cartoon." I agree. It's definitely in my top 3, top 5, somewhere in there.
I gotta watch Venture Bros.
Dude, we should have a fucking Venture Bros marathon sometime. That show is so fucking enjoyable. Tom, you ever seen any Venture Bros?
A little bit.
I think you'd really like it.
What I've seen, I've enjoyed immensely.
When you get to like I would say season 2 is when it like really picks up and gets great, and then by season 3 you're just like, I am extremely invested and I will watch this for as long as it goes. Like all the characters are super interesting and you want to know what's going on with them. Did you? What do you think about the new Madoka Magica? I don't even know about this. Which new Madoka Magica? Is there a new show coming?
Didn't you see they're making a new show?
No, I didn't see that.
Like Madoka has like a weird like fishnet outfit. It's like based on I think a mobile name. I'm not sure though.
Let me look it up.
Her outfit's really bad.
Doesn't seem like a show that needs to continue, but it's never stopped like before.
I mean, there are a fuckload of like side stories to Madoka that have like, it's had a ton of tie-in manga and other shit. So like, if they're making an anime based on some aspect of that, then that wouldn't surprise me. Like, if they're trying to make a sequel, I'd be like, you don't need to do this again. We already had the movies, and I hated that.
How long have we been going? I feel like I've made a lot of progress.
We're close to 2 hours. We're 1 hour 53.
Alright. Probably gonna get some Excedrin before we continue then.
We don't gotta go for long.
There are 29 dragons. How many dragons are in this game? You gotta talk like Joey and say dragon. Can't just say dragon. It's not good.
You see the Madoka?
No, I clicked on an article and it didn't seem to actually go to the article that it was saying, so I just said fuck it and I exited the tab. I couldn't remember what I was looking for.
I'll show you. So I know I showed you her outfit.
I vaguely remember you showing me like a Madoka picture, but I don't think I knew what I was looking at the time. Was this like today or?
No, it was a while ago. Oh, there's a teaser trailer.
Ooh. I sure I have a headache because I didn't have any coffee today.
Madoka.
Infinite Walruses says, I just blame mobile games on anime sucking now. They're probably not the cause of the rot, but I hate them enough that I would blame them for cancer if I could. Fair enough. I've got a line in a video I'm working on right now where I like just slag on Fate Grand Order's existence. So you'll probably appreciate that. Yesterday was a weird day. I like edited a vlog that I had recorded the day before. Then ended up writing a whole new main channel video. Edited like 1 minute of Tales of Fantasia and then made another vlog.
Dude, yesterday was weird for me too. I spent 8 hours trying to make a door open.
That's a lot. 8
8
hours?
Yeah, it was horrifying. I don't understand how I even actually got it to work. I got it to work at about 8 a.m. this morning. And everything that I knew about making video games in this program just stopped working for this one sequence. And for 8 hours, I just kind of like wanted to die. It was really weird. Why am I back here? Oh no, this is the overworld. The overworlds and the actual levels look identical, so I constantly forget where I am.
Digi, have you read any stuff from guys like Goeth? I don't think so.
I was breaking into a corporate bank in Deus Ex for the stream, and now I'm running around killing gingers as a dragon.
Liquid Shaman Man says, totally forgot. Everybody's talking about like whether or not there was any good anime this year, and like this guy brought up Pop Team Epic. That's been like my go-to for 2018 anime that was good. Like Devilman Crybaby, Pop Team Epic. Those are like the only two I remember finishing and being like, wow, that was good.
Devilman was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, Crybaby was like real early this year.
Why does 2018 feel long, but the last 4 months feel like nothing?
I know, dude. It's cause like all we've been really doing in this house the whole time is like trying to make a future happen.
I guess that's true.
It's just been like plugging away.
We
like,
have been on repeat for every week since I got here. Well, since Iron Game started, every week has been exactly the same.
Yeah, it's all been like we're trying to work on these projects that we hope are going to mean.
I couldn't find the trailer.
Bring it closer.
Oh, it's a hood. I thought she was like some weird baggy panties on her head.
That's her?
Yeah.
It's weird.
I know.
What the fuck is she wearing? Why is she wearing like? Why is she wearing that on her like whole midriff and everything? Like, is it like a super warm polymer?
Spyro's burning you, viewers. You.
It's based on the movie.
How'd you make a Madoka game?
TV anime adaptation from the mobile RPG Magica Record, Manhai Shoujo Madoka Magical Reading.
Liquid Shaman Man asks, what draws you to Atlanta so much, Digi? You say it's one of your favorite Western TV shows. It is. It's very much about like the absurdism of the comedy, the fact that it can be like, it can be tonally kind of serious without going too much into just like being depressing all the time. Season 2 had a little bit more of that, but like, you know, I like the comedy shows that allow their characters to be more human and to like have like a narrative and everything, like have things that you can take seriously while still being funny all the time, but like also to have like an absurd tinge and like things that are, you know, that are really like not so much like Lovecraftian, but like just the weirdness of realizing that like everything in the world is super fucking bizarre, and the more you think about it, the weirder it gets.
Speaking of Lovecraftian, did that Lovecraft game ever come out? And if so, did it suck?
It did, and it did suck.
God damn.
Because I had researched it for like, because we were gonna play it on Halloween, and I researched it, and like everybody was like, "Oh, it's like real buggy and kind of like low budget schlock."
Why is everything bad? Why is everything I love bad?
I don't know. Well, what about this game?
I guess it's bad. Why is I wasn't looking forward. I mean, I guess I was looking forward to this game, but I was really looking forward to Cthulhu game, and it fucking blows my nutsack. I don't think I can get in this way. I think think I'm fooling myself. I think I'm fooling myself here, guys. Oh. Remember Deus Ex Mankind Divided? The game that ruined the entire franchise, despite being still pretty good. God.
What are you talking about?
So, did you ever play Deus Ex Human Revolution?
Yeah.
It was amazing, right? It's like the fucking sickest
Yeah.
shit of all time.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, oh man, I love it. It made me almost like the color yellow. Anyway, Mankind Divided was the second one. And right before release, Square Enix was like, shit, we need money, guys. We still need to fund Final Fantasy 15. That's probably what they were thinking. That's my thought process. So we're going to add microtransactions into this game that is not balanced for microtransactions. So they added a ton of microtransactions. And then there was this weird thing right from the beginning called Jensen Stories. And it was just like, it was billed as side stories to the game. But all of this, like, it warns you, don't play the side story before you finish the campaign, because it'll spoil the campaign. Because the story has everything to do with the campaign, because it's cleared as part of the game that they pulled out and charged you money for. And, like, the season pass was, like, $45 to get, like, 3 huge parts of the game that were supposed to be in the game, but they decided not to include them. And so everybody was like, this is fucking bullshit. And the game sold like shit because they tried to nickel and dime everybody. And in response, Square Enix wasn't like, oh shit guys, we fucked up. I guess we shouldn't like treat a beloved franchise like this. Instead they were like, the game underperformed, series is canceled, Eidos Montreal is being shut down.
Yeah, well, you know, that's nothing new. It's what you should expect from Square Enix.
They don't deserve Deus Ex. They don't deserve Eidos Montreal.
They don't deserve Final Fantasy.
They don't. They deserve Kingdom Hearts, though.
No thank you says, fuck yo click nigga, fuck yo community. Was a fucking sick hook. Immediately followed by white Kanye West, which is fucking horrible. Why did you do that, Digi? I feel personally offended. You made a good song and then just raped it. Alright.
Oh no, here we go.
Well, how the song came together is that I was taking a shit one day and I kept going like
all good song ideas.
I had already come up with like fuck yo click nigga, fuck yo community at some point. Like that was like the first thing I remember inventing for the song. And then I also just wanted to do like a hype ass meme song about being white Kanye West. Because this was all conceptualized at the time when I was doing like Digibro versus everybody and like being a controversial figure online. And I was like, I want to make a song about feeling like Kanye West, because like I understand a lot of his feelings, and like a lot of his raps are about just being like sort of like because of his beliefs he gets turned on by his own community, you know. And so I felt like those were two very related sentiments of like, I am the white Kanye West because I'm saying fuck your clique and fuck your community, because like that's kind of what he was saying on his latest album, is like, I actually, to even go further back, like as far back as My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, where he says like, they said I was the abomination of Obama's nation. Well, that's a pretty bad way to start the conversation. It's like, you know, nobody wants to confront him about like the things he's actually saying. They're just like, oh, Kanye West, that guy's a fucking asshole. He's like, he's crazy, he's a monster, whatever, you know? And they just like dismiss him offhand as just being Kanye West. And then like he gets like attacked by like the black community who call him like going blonde and like, you know, be like acting white and shit like that. And like there was that whole MTV video. Did you know about that MTV like weird racial video that they did at one point, where it was like they're like telling white people all the things they needed to apologize for or something like that. Yeah. But then they say like, oh, but you can keep Kanye West. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah. It's called social justice warrior.
So Kanye doesn't agree with you, so he's not black anymore. Like, he doesn't get to speak about the black experience as a black man because it's not the same as your experience. Like, what the fuck? Do you know
that, like, when these, like, social justice-y types when there's black cops like policing like their protests and stuff, they'll just call them race traitors and Uncle Toms and just straight up call them niggers, like, to their face.
That's ridiculous. There was a...
It's like... Twitch bans me for that. That was a very academic statement of the word, so fuck you. But yeah, I'm expressing my disgust for it, and it's just like... It's not... None of this shit is about race, it's not about religion, it's about power. Yeah. You know, it's about, like...
Power in politics. And
yeah.
Like what,
keeping
what
our viewpoints, and as soon as you disobey, it doesn't matter anymore.
There's this...
You're dead to us.
There's this line in a song by a guy named Open Mike Eagle where he says, "Fuck you if you're a white man who thinks I can't speak for black folks, and fuck you if you're a white man who thinks I speak for black folks," right? And I every time I hear that, I think it's a great line, but I really wish he would also say, like, "Fuck you if you're a black man who thinks I can't speak for black folks." Like, you know, like, fuck you if you're anyone who thinks I can't speak for the fucking myself, you know?
Yeah.
But, anyway, so that's why I connected White Kanye West with fuck your clique and fuck your community. But then from there, like, I was thinking about those two things all the time, because, like, I thought they were both great hooks, and I kept going around going, White Kanye West, White Kanye West, White Kanye West, White Kanye West. And so I wanted to make it, like, a big, like, meme song. Like, the idea was I was going to make a full music video, I was going to make, like, a generic trap song about being White Kanye West. But then when I tried to actually put the song together, I realized I have no idea how to make a song like this. And so I just made it out of this weird hodgepodge of sounds, and it kind of sounded like shit. And I was like, I'm abandoning this as a big meme because nobody's going to listen to this song. Instead, I'll just put it at the front of this running album that I'm making as the, like, warm-up song, because it was, like, kind of a good, like, it gets you, like, emotionally pumped but not really physically pumped, because, like, you know, it's very, like, aggressive and, like, fuck you and you're a punk bitch motherfucker, but, like, it's kind of a slow song nonetheless. But then you get into the running tracks right after that.
Like
I don't know if I really explained anything, but...
Dude, I just fucking aced this level like a fucking bitch. Alright. Are we done for today? I just got 30 dragons. I just 100%ed this level. Just got 400 out of 400 gems.
I am definitely down to be...
I'm feeling good. This game rocks. Okay.
Thoughts on Castlevania producer wanting to bring back 2D Berserk? Dude, if that happens, that would be legendary.
Did you hear about what the Castlevania... are we talking about the guy who did the Castlevania show or Castlevania...
I assume the show.
Do you know what else the dude did?
What?
He bought the rights to Devil May Cry, and he's going to make a Devil May Cry Castlevania shared universe. And I am 100,000% down for this.
How is that even possible?
I don't even care how it's Devil May Cry. It doesn't have to make sense. Yeah. I want fucking Dante killing vampires.
I didn't mean plot-wise. I meant, like, one's owned by Konami and one's owned by Capcom.
Who cares? I don't... this sounds like the sickest fucking shit.
Yeah?
Because I like the Castlevania show. It's fucking cool. And yeah, he's like, I bought the rights up because I knew someone else would fuck it up. And I'm like, this guy knows what's up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even care. Like, as long... We can only go up from Strawberry Sundays as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I watched that show. Yeah, it sucked.
Is the visually surreal and amoral comedy of Teen Titans Go new to Digi? Because I grew up with seeing Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Warner Bros. Cartoons far more insane than that show. How I could get into FLP because that show isn't trying to be the weirdest it possibly can do is too weird for me.
I don't think that's weird to you, right? Like Teen Titans Go? Like, that's just like cartoons.
Well,
that's what American cartoons
what
are.
makes Teen Titans Go is great is like how far it takes diving into like completely different aesthetics and like.
Have you watched Amazing World of Gumball?
Yeah, I don't find it funny though.
It's aesthetically, I love what it does.
It's very interesting to look at for sure, but like I don't like the voice acting. I don't really find it funny. I mean, I didn't really like Chowder much either.
I thought it was like trying to like the writing was very Chowder-esque, and then it came out like.
The thing for me with Gumball is that Gumball's very hit or miss.
There's some like really cool animation sequences in Gumball. Like, there's the one where the moms are like having a straight on anime fight.
Oh, that was amazing.
Legendary. But,
yeah.
Like, as a show, I'd rather watch like.
I mean, Gumball's not my favorite show. But like, when it misses, it misses. But when it hits, it hits. There are some really good episodes. Like there's one where they're like running out of money. Like the show runs out of money. So like as the show goes on, the animation keeps getting worse until it's just stills on sticky notes and stuff. And
see, I've seen that happen though before. That's happened in anime before, where the characters gradually became scribbles.
Who fucking cares? It's called a good idea done well. God, you're such a pretentious cunt!
Well, they were.
That's it, everybody! Thanks for coming to I Am Games.
Yeah.
We're going to Beastmakers.
Oh, before we go, shout out to Tommaso Choco Taco for subscribing for the 3rd month in a row.
Hell yeah. We would give you some on-screen credit, but you know what show you're on. You should come into this show expecting nothing, because that's about all we can consistently deliver.
Yeah. When the fuck is Twitch gonna send us the money for this show?
You know, I was gonna ask you that yesterday and I forgot. When am I getting paid?
I don't know. I don't know when we're getting paid.
I'm not well laid. Can I at least be well paid, Twitch?
We have like $850 sitting in this channel.
Oh my god.
I don't know when we're supposed to
Okay, you know what the problem is? The problem is we don't have enough money. Guys, if you want us to get paid, you have to give us more money.
Only makes sense.
Once there's enough, they will actually give us money. Once we hit $1,000, then they'll be like, of course we have to give you money.
I'm pretty sure you only had to make 100, and we did that months ago.
No, it was 1,000. We need $150 more, guys. Get on it. Dude, this level looks super cool. I'm almost sad that I'm turning it up. Whoa! Sparks is like chilling and hitting the screen and shit. That was a 4th wall break. This game's delightful. This game is delightful.
I'm glad you are so delighted. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when the fuck they send me my money. It would be nice if there was like a date somewhere. You'll get paid this day. Hey, you hit the $100, so here's when you get paid. Well, whatever. That's it. Goodbye. Let's get the fuck out of this thing.
Everybody buy this game. Support this kind of game.
Oh, we got like $3 at the very end. Any further thoughts on a Patreon?
We haven't further discussed it really. The reaction to us talking about it before was seemingly negative in general.
I don't know. It was just like one guy who said that's gay.
I mean, that's the only thing I heard. He sneezes and he blows fire. This is great.